Hey all, and welcome back to the Hellfire Comms playthrough of Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory. The Kingdom Hearts 1 songs have all been sung or played since they were mostly instrumental. Now it's time for the Chain of Memories stuff, with a few bits of RE Chain of Memories thrown in there for good measure. So, let's begin things with Castle Oblivion.
Aw, yeah, my favorite location from a game that is a spin-off for a system that really shouldn't have been able to play it, but somehow, by George, it did.
Did it ever? Some of the best sprite work on the GBA, in my opinion, and music as well.
Oh, yeah.
Though, sadly, we do not get the GBA versions of these songs, as much as I love that sound chip and would kill a person to have it in a music rhythm game.
I'm actually able to play via OBS now.
Hey! Though, sadly, that means that on our end, we actually don't get to hear the music, but I found a playlist, and I have it somehow synced up super perfectly.
I'm surprised someone hasn't made a Melody of Memory set list.
I mean, that's basically what this playlist is. It's not done in the order that you'd run into them in the World Tour. It's done by game, which is fair enough, because it's how you'd it's how you would run into it in the track list. So it's just what you choose to do with these sorts of things.
I did find a playlist that was like, KH Mom, every song, full excellent chains, and I'm like, oh, that sounds perfect, that'd be perfect to put on in the background, and they only have like 20 videos, and I'm like, what are you talking about? That's not every song. I feel like you preemptively jumped on that title of the playlist before making it.
Yeah, so, Castle Oblivion, what do we think about this place as a location? Tanner?
I think it's a really good way of handling what is essentially a recap game of Kingdom Hearts 1, because it still has its own interesting rules, and in general, I think the Castle Oblivion itself aesthetic is really cool looking, like the pure white rooms, and, you know, I think it's real neato, and it was a bit to fit onto the GBA, you know, you could tell a bit of it was console limitations. They couldn't make it be, you know, probably this super extravagant looking castle. But I think it's good on the GBA version, though its blandness is kind of apparent when it's in 3D.
I feel like the GBA version of Chain of Memories had much better atmosphere, owing to the fact that there was no voice acting, so it all kind of took place in your head, rather than just seeing it play out on the screen, if you want to get pretentious about it. But our Rechain of Memories, or Rechain of Memories, however you want to call the game, it's much more accessible, so if you want to get into Chain of Memories, don't feel pressured to play the GBA version, just go with Chain of Memories, and you'll be able to get the story no problem.
Or, you know, you can pop open an emulator and just, no one's gonna stop you from playing the original on, you know, a GBA emulator that can run on anything, almost.
Link a chain of 58 or more on beginner difficulty. Okay.
This one's a weird one. I remember seeing this one being like, oh, you want me to play on beginner? It's basically play perfectly on beginner, which is like, sure, alright.
Yeah, there's a couple of these where it's just like, couldn't you know, just said do a perfect chain, and on either standard or kind of proud? Like, on beginner, it's not really that much of a challenge.
Of course, once they start saying, hey, get a super high score on proud, that's when you're like, I don't like these ones that force me to play a certain difficulty. Looking at you, Vector to the Heavens.
Oh, Lord.
I mean, I love Vector to the Heavens. It is easily one of the best songs in the Kingdom Hearts franchise, but my god, is it difficult.
Hey, I sure hope you are a Blanca player from Street Fighter who can do piano fingers.
Yeah, pretty much. I have to say, with Castle Oblivion, I feel like it's one of those worlds where visually it looks great, and in concept it's amazing, but the execution of it was lacking somewhat, and I think that just goes into my mindset around Chain of Memories. And also its very short appearance in Recoded.
Very short. Very forgettable.
Yeah, because it just ends up being that Castle Oblivion is ultimately just this slightly bland place of reliving adventures that you've already relived very recently. And that just got a little bit mind-numbing for me, anyway. But with that said, I mean, I love the whole idea of it, and especially when you take into consideration the fact that it's the land of departure transformed to protect Ven.
Spoilers!
We're allowed to do these days, it's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
But, like, just when that plot point got revealed, it was just like, oh my god, this is amazing! Nomura, what are you smoking? I want some.
Smoking zippers. Actually, no, it's plaid now.
I can't believe it. I was free off a full excellent.
Ah.
Well, what are you gonna do? I got your bloody beginner difficulty challenge. We're going back to the fucking standard.
Sora continued his journey in search of Riku and Mickey.
His voice was deeper all of a sudden. For no explained reason in canon, Nomura, we need another game.
The group continued deeper.
The green field that he walked through was called the Field of Puberty. Every step, increased the amount of testosterone. And so it's just, as you walked further, your voice gets deeper and hairs start to sprout.
The more floors you go up, the more memories you lose, but the more testosterone you gain. So there you go. Ridiculous.
Completely ridiculous. I mean, obviously, the reason that happened was that they, even though Rechain of Memories was created not that sort of, well, it was around the same time as Kingdom Hearts 2 and obviously going into Final Mix, which would not have necessarily been a problem apart from the fact that obviously Haley Joel Osment's voice broke and really they should have done it a lot sooner.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite things that is online is there's people who put up videos which they call accidental Sora in Haley Joel Osment performances, and you'll just watch a live action show and Haley Joel Osment will be there acting, as a, let's say, a doctor, and when he gets a bit heated, you absolutely hear the Sora in his voice, and it's just like, oh, yep, that's our JRPG protagonist.
Well, I mean, pretty much that will be, because Haley Joel Osment's Sora voice is very much in the upper registers of his voice. So generally when you get heated in anything, or you start to get a bit excited, your voice starts to go up and up and up. And obviously, considering that's where he has to sit for his Sora voice, it's just naturally going to fall into that. And also, he's been doing that voice for such a long time now, that it wouldn't surprise me if it's just you just slide into it naturally without even realising you've done it.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's his voice. It's just,
Well, yes.
It's hard to not do it, because unlike what a lot of people think, voice acting isn't necessarily putting on a voice. For a lot of people, it's just acting.
It's just talking, really.
The 13th struggle, our first real encounter with the number 13, really.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's never left.
Has anyone seen the Proud version of this song? It don't fuck around.
I have not.
I don't think I have either, but I can imagine.
Oh yeah, I can see why it would suck. So I actually, I've been playing this quite a bit on my downtime, specifically at work, because there's times when they're just like, hey, we need you at work, but we'll call you when we need you. And so for me, that basically just means sit in my office playing my Switch, which, hey, that's pretty good. But what I ended up doing a couple times, also congrats on the full chain, was basically there'd be missions where it's like, okay, get this highest score on Proud mode. And so I'd be like, okay, I'm going to do this one on Proud mode. And then I'll forget to change it back. So then I'll be like, man, this game is such a great natural difficulty curve, forgetting the fact that I totally am playing it on, hard mode, essentially. Which makes you realize, hey, this game's actually really well balanced even on proud mode. It's hard, but definitely doable.
His memory started to fade.
I would say outside of the most challenging songs, Proud mode's pretty alright. It is just the songs that are challenging on standard are the songs that are challenging in Proud. So it scales, as you would expect. But also, like, the most challenging songs on standard are probably about mid-tier in Proud. You judge it by the number, basically. So some of your Proud songs will be like a 12, but like the highest standards will be up at the 12 mark.
Oh god. Coming up is one that I'm pretty sure I'll be describing to a therapist one day. I've heard it in my nightmares many a time.
Which one's this one?
The Force in You, aka Riku.
Oh god, right, yes, yep,
Let's see. Item boost. Mickey, you can come with us, why not?
Mikhail Mouse himself.
Oh, yeah, we got a new team. I'm going to be saving them for days, and maybe a little bit of Cage too.
Chain of Memories was my first actual Kingdom Hearts game that I got to play, so hence why, for me, the GBA version, it holds a special place in my heart for sure, even if I, don't love its gameplay at times. But what I will say is, boy geez, I didn't really get what was going on with the Nominee Kairi stuff, because it was a wee bit confusing.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, I suppose even for anybody who would come off of the original Kingdom Hearts into Chain of Memories, it is one of those things just going, I'm sorry, what they're connected, but they're definitely not the same person, but they might be. But Namine's replacing Kairi, but is she really? And oh boy.
Back in those days, they were very much not forthcoming with helping newbies. Nowadays, you get recaps basically every game, so there's no excuse for you to not know what's going on, really.
Not even just recaps, they'll sometimes just blatantly explain stuff to you in, like, the journals, where it's like, this is exactly what's happening. If you're confused, give it a read, and you'll 100%, be able to understand it, hopefully.
Which I think, when you sort of get to this point in a series, you kind of have to do. By virtue of the fact of there will be many people who, like, Melody of Memory might actually be their first Kingdom Hearts game. Not necessarily likely, because everything that this game sells itself on is being a celebration of Kingdom Hearts, and if you've got no connection to the series, would you really pick it up? But then people might do, because they've obviously heard of Kingdom Hearts, because it's kind of impossible not to have heard of it in some form or another. But, like, Kingdom Hearts 3 will have been a number of people's first Kingdom Hearts game for various reasons.
Oh, don't remind me.
I actually saw a number of people on Twitter being like, it's my first game, is there any information I should know going in? And it's like, strap in, because there's a lot you need to know. Alright, so how much do you know about The World Ends With You?
You might need to take, like, what's the term for a lesser degree in college, Rich? Is it just like a minor?
And those connected to him.
Well, so in America...
Yeah, I'm thinking of the American term, yeah.
The American system, it's, you have your majors and your minors.
That his memories of Naminé were fake.
Let's just say a bachelor's degree.
Well, no, because you see, in the UK, a bachelor's degree is a full degree.
Yeah, but that's what you need for Kingdom Hearts.
It'd be more like a module on your course, really, more than anything. But you could definitely teach a full module on Kingdom Hearts, because there's more than enough content.
I would absolutely take that class and probably get an A+ or a distinction for the first time in my life. Yes! The best Chain of Memories song!
Although, I will just slightly correct you, Tom, because if you are doing something at degree level, then it would be a first rather than an A+, but there we go.
Do I even need to explain why I wouldn't know that? I mean, come on, it's pretty obvious.
I know.
It's not a boss battle, but it's a boss song, and that's good enough for me.
Oh yeah, and it's a great song. I mean, Kingdom Hearts has consistently some of the most awesome final boss music in video gaming. I mean, Yoko Shimomura is just insanely good at this sort of stuff.
Yeah. Throwing in some extra notes to try and throw me off.
There is actually a mode that you can play in the regular sort of the track listing mode that actually will put in extra button prompts for you to press. So any of the buttons that you don't necessarily push in gameplay, there'll be ones where you'll have to, like, say, flick the stick or press the, I think it's the X, one of the buttons. The one button that's not used on the face, but they'll add prompts for that, which can give you bonus points. You don't lose points if you don't hit them, but it is there for if you, like, want to maximize your point value. But boy, geez, does that add a lot to it. I only played it in the demo there to see what it was like, and yeah, it basically just means now you have extra notes with more buttons. Get used to it, you gotta press them all.
Yeah, so that is performer style. And then obviously the other style that, so we're playing regular style. There's performer style, which, yeah, gives you the extra notes to hit. But then there is also one button style, which basically, rather than having to, you know, muck about with different buttons, you just press the same one to do every single action.
I'm glad that's there for accessibility, for sure, you know. That's there more for accessibility than almost anything else. Maybe a little bit of, you know, difficulty stuff, but it's nice to be there, because the Switch doesn't have the most accessibility options for the systems.
No.
Like, there's no accessibility controller. Though apparently the Microsoft one does work with the Switch, but you just gotta get it, you know, plugged in and set up there. So it's nice that it's there, even if you're not going to use it.
Yeah, you'd have to do some jiggery-pokery to get that one to work.
Performer mode is basically critical mode anyway, so if you want an even harder challenge than Proud, go for that. I think that was a full chain on every Chain of Memories song, funnily enough.
Full chain of memories.
Oh, that's going to be the title part.
Yeah.
Nah, I've taken to call it like the songs of Kingdom Hearts 1, Kingdom Hearts 2, etc. Oh, I need to not use items. Oh well, that's for personal end on time, I guess.
Ah, foolish.
10,000 enemies defeated. Yeah. Now show me Marluxia dying. There it is. The part where Sora's a G and he's just like, is he gone? Fuck yeah, he's gone.
Memories, Sora would have to forget.
Although, I mean, oh my
Lemonade.
god, the plot with the Kingdom Hearts Union Cross right now.
Really?
And the symbolism with...
I'll have to talk to you about that after we're done here, because that is spoilers.
that is major spoilers, and oh god, I can't wait to see what happens there.
From within a shroud
Can't
of
believe
magic,
Fix-It Felix was
Riku
actually
heard
Xehanort
Lemonade.
all along.
Just one of my many backup plans.
Riku accepted the power of darkness without fear.
Oh man, Zexion gets fucking owned in Chain of Memories. Basically, Repliku here puts him up against a wall and basically sucks his life
Lemonade
force
offered to
out of
use her
him.
powers to
It's
lock away the
pretty
darkness in
dark.
Riku's heart for good, but he refused.
The Rechain of Memories also changes Vexen's death. Axel in the original basically just cuts him down, but in the remake, he immolates him, basically.
Darkness lies hidden within light. The road to dawn.
Also, this scene, as I mentioned, has music in the original, but not in the remake. Don't know why. There we go.
Well, that was a fast playthrough of RE Chain of Memories. Good thing we never have to touch that game again.
Well, I like that game, but I understand where you're coming from. Let's have a look at synthesis here, because I kind of want to synthesize Terra's song if I can. I can do Naminé, which is good. Oh,
Yeah, no, not yet. You need some betwixt gems, but they will come in time.
there we go.
Yeah, basically, as you progress through the mode, each sort of game has its own drop item, common drop item. So because of that, it's like, yeah, you'll start to get those a lot more as you continue onwards.
By the end of the game, because I did attempted to do as many of the missions as I could do. The only items that I was low on were, I think it was lucid shards and gems, which you get from some of the early game, well, like Destiny Islands, Night of Fate, those songs. So I did have to do quite a lot of those.
Kind of wanted to do this as a bridge between us doing the Chain of Memories songs in KH2.
Makes sense, because there's no one else who is more of a bridge than Naminé herself. She kind of sets everything in motion, and greatly confused all the people who skipped the Game Boy Advance game thinking it was a spin-off.
That's what you get. If they never say it's a spin-off and you decide it's a spin-off, that's your own fault.
And who's to say spin-offs can't be canon either? I mean, just because if it is a spin-off doesn't mean that it's not important. That's why you should dedicate yourself entirely to every series you're interested in, and never stop thinking about it and engaging with all forms of media related to it.
Tanner, are you okay?
Dude, I've been so into Fate, it's taken over my life. I need help.
Well, no. Sorry, you can revel in your own filth, really.
I'm in the Magical Girl anime right now, and it's real sus.
Well, back to Kingdom Hearts. Although it would not surprise me if at some point Kingdom Hearts featured some form of Magical Girl anime stuff. I mean, they got pretty close with the Gull Wings.
Well, you say that, but there's a Disney Plus show coming, isn't there?
About the Gull Wings?
No, about Kingdom Hearts, you silly.
Oh yes, I did hear about that.
Oh, right!
I believe it is happening, but it's been a while since we heard anything. And I forget whether that was like official confirmation that it was happening, or whether it was rumour that it was happening. God only knows, but I will be very excited if it does, because, I mean, like, Kingdom Hearts is very well placed for a TV show approach.
Kingdom Hearts TV show. Probably my favorite things that I own, and I'll never stop shilling this, is I actually have 2 framed storyboards from the Kingdom Hearts pilot that was going to be made for Disney Channel there, with one of them looks like Sora, looks like the kid from King of the Hill. It's hilarious. It's the best. And they are such cursed items, and I'm so happy I own them, and that the guy who made them was just like, yeah, I'm just gonna sell them online, and I'm like, I can't not buy these.
Disgusting. That's all I'm gonna say for that. So yeah, new teams start off at level 1, so have fun grinding and whatnot.